Good morning, ladies and gentrification. And so the rules of the canal, we haven't even started the show yet, is no fishing in the canal, but I'm wondering what this guy is up to right here. He's cruising along and he just comes to a stop. Probably mark some fish, and by the time he catches them, I don't know, you see what I see. He's contemplating, should I get the rods out? Unless he's broke down, I don't know. But he stopped. Anyway, you never know what you're gonna get here. Welcome to another edition of Saturday Morning Outdoors with Paul K. And back on the canal, back in the saddle on this beautiful fall day up in New England along the Cape Cod Canal. And our quest is for stripers as usual, and it's a lot nicer than I thought it was going to be. Usually this time of year it starts to get pretty brutal down here, but coming up we're going to have the report. We're going to have a kind of cool gadget session for you, and whatever Nautilus wants to show us along the canal. And there's a bite right there. That's incredible. The rod just went down. Come on, take it. Let's go. Good opening to the show. I'll let you know. Trail boss out. And so we roll with the conditions report. Beautiful fall day here in New England. And you know, it seems like the weather has shifted. Maybe it's me, but I don't think so. I mean, if you look along the trees along through here, I know there's color, pockets of color and everything. We're 1 week away from November. These trees haven't even started to change. It's like our calendar stays the same because that's calibrated by the stars. You know, we figured that out 1,000 years ago, but the weather, the season seems to have shifted at least a month. Like it's starting to be real fall later and later. I don't believe we've had a hard frost yet, so it ain't even Indian summer yet, and it's almost November. I don't know if it's just this year. It seems that's the pattern though, like everything's shifted, you know, everything's starting later. Anyway, the ramblings. I'm fishing, what do you expect? So temperature wise, low 60s today, very comfortable, a lot more comfortable than I thought it was going to be. Wind is out of the west southwest at about 12 to 13 miles per hour. Pretty nice day here. Barometric pressure is 33000 and steady. And for the moon heads, it's past the last quarter, coming up on the new moon, so you have a hard time seeing the moon. And some claim that's the best time of all at night to fish. Some guys swear by the full moon, some guys swear by the new moon, which there is no moon. So so those are the conditions today. I'm fishing it's slack right now, and just flipped to the west, east being that way, west being that way. I'm on the Cape Cod side, so that just flipped, and we'll give it a swing. Mac chunks on the bottom as usual, and I'll throw a few lures, probably magic swimmer right now. And there's a little touch right there on the conventional, and but those are today's fishing conditions. If you choose to come down here, if you do, I think it would be a wise choice. You'll have a lot of fun. Let you know. Fish on. don't even think I'm doing that again. The fall down sequence. Fish on. We rolling. A lot, not a lot, but some of you guys, there might be something on this rod. We're on a roll here. Some of you guys saying, why don't I keep the black sea bass? Season's closed up here. And of course, this is when you're gonna catch the nicest ones, you know, and I don't fillet one, I want 4 or 5, you know, I mean, a good feed. Best tasting fish in the ocean, but you'll catch the best sea bass of your life when the season's closed, because that's how Murphy wants it. Let's roll, let's go. So I think right about now, if I can fit it in, it would take time to slide back over to the rat cave and, as promised, show you some of the gadgets, pull them out of the old sea bag and see what we can dig up this week. And hopefully show you something new and fun. And away we go back home. Hey guys, welcome to back to the rat cave. And so this week's gadget corner, I suppose. We're going to talk about strike indicators, fresh and saltwater. And a lot of guys don't use them, they pay attention, or if you're in the daytime fishing, you kind of don't need them, or you could use them. Mostly they're for night fishing, but I use them tons of times, trout fishing, regular trout fishing, and striper fishing. When I'm on a beach somewhere and I got a lounge chair, and not the canal, but on a beach where you get a lounge chair, you just put out your bait, you set up your strike indicator, and you can kind of pay attention by going to sleep. So let's get started. So the first one, the fundamental one, is the simple bell. And how this works, actually this is one of my favorites, because that sound, it's so embedded in my brain. You're dozing off at 1 a.m. in the morning and you hear that slamming ting-a-ling sound, and that's a hit. So basically your rod, as a demonstration, see if I can do this while holding the camera. Your line comes off the reel and goes in, of course, to the first guide. You pull the line out and you attach the bell to the line. You've already cast it out. Your bait's in the water. So you just pull excess line off, attach this to the line, and it hangs there. Your rod is spiked, whether you're in freshwater trout fishing. I do this all the time, especially trout fishing. I love doing it. And it just hangs there. And when you get a bite and the fish runs with it, it comes up and jams. The bell comes up. Of course, the line's going out. The bell comes up and jams into the first guide, and you get that sound. So you pull it off, drop it, the bell on the ground, and you reel your fish in, or try, hopefully you'll have the fish. But that's the first one, and that's one of my favorites. It's archaic, and I don't care. I really think it's a kind of a charming thing, and it's the sound of trout fishing, and at nighttime striper fishing, that's the sound of a hit when you're using those, and it gets in you. Now, another one, for decades in saltwater, striper and bluefish fishing, I used the Penn Squitter, which is I actually have one over here. Let's see if I can find one. That's a squitter. Okay, all right, here's a squitter, right? So this kind of reel revolves. I use this for decades. And this was standard on all the squitters and most conventional reels, but there's a button on the side, and if you push that button, you get this clicking sound. And that's the strike indicator. That's not meant, some guys think, well, you can open the revolving spool, and when the fish runs with it, you get that screaming, really loud sound. It's a beautiful sound, and that's the sound of a take. And I have a few old videos using these where you get a really solid hit, and that thing just screams. And that's another strike indicator, and that's the purpose on all these old school revolving reels. That's what that's for. It's a strike indicator. It tells you when you get a strike. And this is probably my most famous reel of my whole life. This is my favorite reel. Anyway, so moving on. Now, next one up is kind of a newfangled one. This is a light, and you attach it to the tip of your rod with this little clip deal, and the light for nighttime. And of course, when you get a hit, it jingles. Works pretty good, actually, and it's kind of fragile. Not fragile, but it's primarily made for trout fishing, I think. You could use it in salt water, but the salt would eat this in a second, and 2 days you'd have a clump of rust. But kind of cool, very ingenious invention. Clip it to the tip of the rod, and when you get a bite, there's what you get. And last but not least, a lot of shark guys use these Siloom sticks. And these are the small ones, if you can find them. Buy them in bulk. They're not expensive. And you tape it to the tip of your rod for nighttime. And I'm sure you guys know how these work. You snap this, and these glow for a good 8-10 hours anyway. And you can see the strike. So I use these a lot on really dark beaches like the Outer Cape, where there's no real ambient light. And you'll see a bunch of guys using these down the beach. You'll see the glow sticks going. So those are the selections of a few strike indicators that I think are pretty cool, and that consists of this gadget corner, and they're very useful and fun stuff, and another aspect of fishing, and to help us get along a little better. Now let's get back to the canal and see how we're doing. While you guys are fooling around over at the rat cave, I'm catching fish. Fish on. undisputed black sea bass king of the Cape Cod Canal this year. Well, they're freaking fun. I'm here for striper though, as we all know. I wanted to mention, with my miniaturized fish-sized brain, I messed up on the report. I was fishing coming into slack. That was a west tide. It's now running east. I had it reversed in a dyslexic kind of way. The tide is running east now at that flip of the tide. But you hang around fish, you start thinking like you have a fish-sized brain. So it's a natural thing. And so, what do we got coming down the mighty Mississippi this time? We got a tugger pulling from the front, not pushing from the back. So this means whenever you see a tugboat, it means the skipper of that thing can't navigate it himself. So they hire these guys. I love these tugboats. It's raw power. They're like the semi-tractor trailer tow trucks of the truckers and the big old Klaus class tractors and farming. I mean, they got power. I'd love to know the horsepower they're running in those things to pull that bad boy. But I admire these guys. They're nautical geniuses at that level, and the machinery they get to run is very cool. So what do we got here? Giant light setups on the side there. Right here. Work lights. And there's booms on the side. Don't know what that is. Maybe some type of work ship. Doesn't have a name on the front of it. The big V must have something to do with anything. Doesn't have any big kind of towers like the last mystery ship that we saw. Couldn't figure out what it was. This looks like some kind of work ship. Working platform. Strange. It's kind of got a uplift on the bow like that, like a canoe. It looks kind of weird. Does have the opening in the back so that it can be pushed by a tug. And once again, this high-end camera that I'm using doesn't have zoom, so I can't zoom in on the name, but maybe I can squeeze it in, or squeeze it out rather, when I get home on the computer to figure out what that name is. But looks like a work ship or somehow, some sort. You never know what you're gonna get. Always interesting. Well, there's trouble afloat. Guy's engine's probably conked out on him, and how embarrassing. That's no fun. It's like the rest of the day is maintenance on the boat and looking like ain't no fun, ain't a good day. Sometimes stuff happens. That's why they're there. Watch over this place like a hawk. This is actually federal on the canal here, so there's all cameras every inch through here just for that. So, because when a guy dies in his boat like that, they're an obstruction. When, just like we just saw, a big boat comes through, ship comes through, they can't stop on a dime. So if this guy's engine decides to die, 500 yards in front of that boat, he's just going under. So that's why those guys are there. And very valuable and admirable, but unfortunately that guy's not going to have any fun. They're going right through the rip. That's the moontide rip, I like to call it. It forms on the moontides. You can see it pretty good there. But good luck to you, pal. Hope things are easy and simple for you to fix. See how well that rip forms? You can see a little better from up here on the service road at this angle. During the moons, and that's a killer rip, man. There's a lot of upwelling that goes on there. Right there. And good fishing spot. Only during the moons though. Currents are strong enough to push it like that. Cool. And once again, I hope you guys ain't getting tired of hearing about it, but the reason why I'm doing these videos is to get you out here. You know, get away from the computers and indoors and office space and all that crap, and you need to be getting out here and getting some peace out here in the desert areas, you know, metaphorically. You know, what more could a guy want, you know? Fishing, beautiful scenery out here in nature, crickets, naked girls, you know? I mean, what more could a guy want? Now, I'm only kidding about the crickets. You see? You think I'm kidding about the naked girls? It happens. Now, that's a beautiful looking boat. Old school style. Look at that thing. Probably wood. It may be. I'm not sure. It kind of looks like it, but look at the shape of it, and that's saying I like the cut of your jib. Don't look at me when you say that. But it's a good looking boat, man. So it's got a nice sleeping area down there, plenty of room, but there's just the shape of it very pleasing. It's got the deck on top there, you can pilot it from. Good looking boat. See right here, Blitzorama. Where were you a little while ago when I had bait? I got lures, but yeah, they're blitzing right here. Wonder which way they're moving. The tide's going the other direction. The chances are they're going the opposite direction, but day late and $1 short.